Hello. This is my showcase of my ethical hacking project. So I want to show a couple things. I want to show a bash script that have worked on to kind of streamline a lot of the tools that I use when doing bug bounties, which I will get into that a little bit later. Um, so I'll go into that first. So essentially, I have used AI, a little bit of AI, to get more of an idea of the syntax that I need to use when making bash scripts, and just to kind of help me learn a little bit more. I feel like when I was looking up tutorials didn't help as much with the specific kind of things that I'm trying to do with bash scripts. So this is my initial bash script. Um, which I do have it uh, pointing towards a library file, mainly just to keep things a little bit separated. Car- yeah, mainly just to keep things separated. Since my bash script was getting a little bit bulky, so but essentially this is just kind of giving a little ASCII art. So whenever I run the tool, it'll show this little banner here. If we go to the library file, this is where we get into what the actual bash script is doing. So essentially, when I do run it, it's going to make a directory. So it's first going to ask what the target domain is going to be. It's going to make a directory with the name of the domain that let's say, that I'm uh, targeting for my bug bounty, which is really nice. Um, and then I have it allowing me to choose what kind of tool I want to run. So I have Subfinder and Naboo, which Naboo is a really nice tool to run in conjunction with Subfinder, because Subfinder will run first, find all the subdomains, and then Naboo will run and scan for any open ports, and whatnot. And it can also utilize Nmap as well. So really powerful tool. It's usually like my go-to the very first thing that I'll run uh, when I'm doing bug bounties on a target. And then this one is just if I just want to use just Nmap. So this actually opens up another different menu, so I can configure like specific uh, Nmap flags that I want to run on a specific target. Usually I don't have to use this because I've got Naboo, but it is kind of nice to have this sort of option. So I do have the Nmap submenu here, which allows me to add a flag. I can remove flags, display what I currently have, and then just have it run Nmap. And then I do have Subfinder just on its own. Um, and then I've got the ffuff, which is just a fuzzer, website fuzzer. So this one's not bad. I'll use this after I've finished up with using Subfinder and Naboo most of the time. Skipfish is a really good vulnerability scanner. This one's a really powerful vulnerability scanner. Nikto is also a vulnerability scanner, so I will usually run Skipfish more than I will Nikto. And then we'll get into some of the other vulnerability scanners, such as Nuclei. That one is probably the most popular vulnerability scanner at the moment. But yeah, so this is just the meat and potatoes of all the functions and all the commands that I have my tools running and everything else. And Yeah, so that is it for that. So I actually do have a target that I grabbed from HackerOne that we can go ahead and run our tool here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, let's see. All right, so enter the target domain. Let's see, we're going to do khealth.us. Okay, so that should have made a directory. Now let's go ahead and just run the subfinder Naboo. Really simple. All right, so it's going to run. Give that a moment to run. All right, welcome back. So finish the scan. For some reason, Naboo did not run, but it did run Subfinder, and it didn't find too many subdomains, which isn't too big of a deal, but it did find some. And it did create that directory here. So on my desktop here, it did create that directory. And here's that empty Naboo file, output file. For some reason, it did not run. So next thing I usually like to do is another tool called Katana. And this one is usually pretty good for finding endpoints that could be vulnerable. Um, so yeah, really, really useful for that. Okay, so essentially we're just going to run Katana against the subfinder output file that we created, and then it's going to output as well, or we want it to output we want Katana to output its results to our directory that we made. There we go. Okay, and we'll run that. And we'll come back once that's done. Okay. All right, so that has finished, and here is our output file. Found a decent amount of endpoints here, some API endpoints, which is good. So next thing I like to do is we'll run nuclei next against that new output file we just created. Let's change this real quick. Okay, we'll run that. So I've got a few different templates, list of templates for nuclei. Um, nuclei is a pretty powerful tool. There's quite a lot that goes into it. Probably won't get into that right now, but I'm probably gonna run this one that we already started, a list of vulnerability templates, and then misconfiguration templates, and then exposure templates. So we're going to run this about 3 times, and these can take quite some time to run. So just give me 1 sec. I'm going to run most of these here. All right, so we got that running. And yep, we will be back once these are done. All right, so worked a little bit in the background here and ran into some issues. I am still a novice at this, so I'm still learning, but a lot of the scans that Nuclei was running were running into unresponsive subdomains and tried to access the website itself, and I think their web application firewall blocked the IP that I was using, mainly because I was going through Tor, so I think they're automatically blocking Tor. So I wanted to show off a web proxy, a newer one. Instead of Burp Suite, I was going to use Kaido to do some manual testing and maybe try some cross-site scripting, but um, can't seem to get around the blocking issue. So I guess we'll stop here. But yeah, again, I am new. I'm still learning. So I will figure this out eventually. But that is it for my ethical hacking project. Thanks for listening.